The other person on the other side, open the door for the person. You go first. No, 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 you go first. See, with that same example right there, they're both trying to be nice for the other person, be caring for the person, help take care of the person, and the entire time they're both being rained on. Because I don't know why they're both outside in the doorway. Welcome back to another episode of the House of Aquarius podcast. It's your favorite Aquarius here. Make a wish. About to bring you another one. Thoughts of an Aquarius. Boy, I'm liking this thing. You know what I'm saying? This is an interesting new thing I'm bringing to it. Intertwining the life coaching with the life lessons, with the astrology. I'm feeling pretty good about it, you know. It's off to a pretty good start. And hopefully if you saw from the last one I did, I started adding some more editing stuff into it. Yeah, I'm not a great editor, but I'm going to keep doing more things to make it a little more entertaining. I like to talk to you about my spiritual spaz, you know what I'm saying? So today, I have two little things going in. The first thing, the main topic today, it's not going to be split into two this time, I don't think. Mostly one topic. Compatibility with the signs and your relationships and all the jive and jazz. Well, the romantic ones, not platonic or the friendship, not those right now. We're talking about the romantic ones. Because as I was talking through some of the people in the comment section, there's actually someone wanted me to do a video with my wife and about how we get along, this kind of jive and jazz. Unfortunately, there wasn't enough information for me to fully plot and peel together, putting it on together, involve my wife, because our schedules aren't really the best for, what's that stuff called? Recording and this kind of stuff. I'm more of a do a kind of a whim, 4, 3, 2 o'clock in the morning type situation, like it's almost right now. That's kind of late. But all this extra jive and talk going on, the wife's not going to be in, but I'm going to hit some points with that. And I have another situation I'll talk about first before we get there. So stay tuned. Hear the full soup of everything. Man, let's get into it. 2 minutes in. Let's get moving. So first thing first. We're going to talk about the compatibility. This one, unfortunately, I was still trying to figure out what we're going to do today for the past 3 hours. So today, we're going to talk about a situation that I was informed of for the past 1.5, 2 years, whatever. So we have a Piscean woman, all right? Piscean woman. She had recently gotten married, and there's been some emotional infidelity on the side of her husband going off onto her. So automatically we already had a bad start in the relationship, right? Not a bad relationship in the marriage. So that being said, there was a lot more information going in lead up to this too. So for my Piscean women, I'm gonna say some things here that may or may not be the most appreciative of my Piscean women and Piscean people in the first place, all right? But from my experiences with Piscean women so far, it's been very hit or miss in regards to this. If they were single, very, very flirtatious with the opposite sex, very, very, very trying to get the information or get the guys that talk to them. They've always been very, very prolific in regards to the talk with the guys out there, right? Because they want that attention. But is that attention really for the need of having someone to say they have someone, or is it in regards to need of having someone to put your attention and focus onto? That's what I'm trying to decide right now. Well, not right now, but like, you know, not now, but right now, but yeah. So that right there. So those interesting dynamics here. So from the outside looking in, from people who don't talk to the Piscean women who are like this, they may seem very hoish or very what's that word? Adulterousness. This could that be a word that you throw in there? That sounds reasonable in regards to this for outside looking in. But that's another thing too. Like I said, but the Piscean women who are actually married or actually heavily involved in a relationship, the person they want to be with, are very locked up and very focused because their attention is very given to one person or to the children or whatever it is that they're focusing on their level of attention. Like, because Pisces is a sign that one needs to be interacting with people. Needs to be interacting with people. So that potentially two have someone to give their emotional focus on. That's why I said sometimes it's hard to gauge if they actually is it for flirtatiousness is for wanting to be in a relationship or just having someone to focus their ability to give to, because Pisces is one of two signs in zodiac who are known for overly giving themselves to other people to do things for other people at the expense of themselves. Because sometimes there are times when they're actually completely like literally not at all take care of themselves, but give everything for other people. And sometimes a very unhealthy way. That's another thing. That's something that's known for Virgoian people to do as well too. Well, I don't say people. I would say more for the female side than the male side, because of the need to nurture and that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing that is a thing that's happening. So going that being said, going back to the situation here, when I first came involved with this woman in a conversational context, very flirtatious, one side directed because I'm just a talker, listener, not really a pusher of anything. And this woman was flirting here, flirting with me, flirting with other people, just for their attention. But things just bounce off me like that because I'm Aquarius, for one, and two, I'm married. So, those things being said, I was able to see things from a completely friendship zone and look at things from a perspective of not trying to do anything, see things just from I see what you're doing. So at some point in time, the entire time though, just another thing too, going back to the situation, she has always been in a relationship with this guy who later become her husband recently, okay? But the entire time though, she'd be complaining about things that inside of him that definitely weren't things that was not an attractive trait for her in regards to what she wants to do. So she's always looking for someone else the entire time. She basically the entire time while she's with this guy, not moving forward to be married with him, but looking to find someone else to replace that guy. Because something that she was looking for inside of her guy she had here was not being brought to the table. So, like I'm going on to tell the story, man, it sounds pretty bad. But you'd be surprised how often this is a very common thing with people in relationships. And like very, very often. But this is the case, so she's always looking for something else to fill the void, for some other guy to possibly replace this guy, because what he brings to the table is not what she has. Actually, I didn't better mention the guy's sign. If I recall correctly, He was a Taurus. I know it was something feminine. It was Taurus or was it Pisces? I want to say it's Pisces or Taurus. So just the thing is, I know I did a Pisces one already, which I will put that aside. But I'm not sure if I did a Pisces female Taurus male thing yet. And if I didn't, I shall do that sometime this week or next week because I haven't done it yet. So that being said, though, it's like a quick rundown. Both of those combinations are things that actually are relatively decent in regards to the Piscean female toward the Piscean male to some degree. The Piscean female is going to get the love and affection and attention that she wants from them, from both the Pisces male and the Taurus male. But one of the definitive things about Pisces, that Pisces is one of the signs that is known for quote unquote being lazy and not having any full direction or drive to do things or to push things forward for himself or other people. That's hard for other people, but for himself. So basically, Pisces is a sign, male or female, that it gets very complacent very easily and needs someone else in their life to help push them in a direction for which way to go. That's one common thing that I've been realizing of Pisces over the years, which I keep dealing with them, my son included. My dad too? I mean, they're both Pisces, but I don't know if that relates to my dad too or not. In regards to the lack of the drive to push forward, do things, you know what I'm saying? So it's really hard to say. Because Pisces is one of the signs that first, a mutable sign. Very open to doing things that are changing. Always moving the water, the flow of the wind, you know what I'm saying? But they're also a sign that actually lacks drive. More often than not, unless they're given some kind of path for them to follow. And even that path to follow is going to be only go so far without the constant pushing from behind to get them to keep going forward. So that with that, in the situation for the compatibility here, with the Taurus and the Pisces male here is not really one who's going to push the Piscean female to move forward and do things. So basically, it's going to be a big circle of loving, affection, caring, consideration, trying to do things for the other person, but the other person is not really doing too much of which regards they're going to be doing for it or anything. So everyone's trying to help each other. It's like basically two people being stuck at a door saying, one person open the door. No, perfect case scenario. Two doors, one door going in, one going out, okay? First Pisces come in, open door for the person. The other person on the other side, open door for the person. You go first. No, 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 you go first. See, with that same example right there, they're both trying to be nice for the other person, be caring for the person, help take care of the person, and the entire time they're both being rained on. Because I don't know why they're both outside in the doorway. But they're both being rained on, okay? Now forget it, okay? Now use that one. One being rained on, one being bludgeoned by heat, okay? They're both suffering for the other person to go first. And the other person is not going to go first, so they'll sit there and wait them out, okay? This is it's not a good example, but it's an amazingly great detailed example of what it would be like to deal with two Piscean people, okay? In a relationship. This is one thing, only problem with this. Very loving, very caring, but no one's pushing the other one to go forward, okay? And that same thing happens with Taurus as well, too, is that Taurus is more of a driver doing things, but it's a fixed sign. And that is actually a little better for the Piscean female if the Taurus is doing Taurus things, because Taurus is a sign that wants its foundation, the stability, and it's all about his career. But whatever he's doing is going to be something that's going to be within this area that's going to be comfortable, and they're going to build upon what they have. So the Piscean female can move into the situation and help deal or make things better in the situation with the love and affection that she will get from the Taurus male, because Taurus male is a very affectionate type sign. Okay, so that's a good thing for that. But that's also another thing too, is that Taurus is a sign that doesn't have that pushing for the Piscean woman to do more things. Okay? That's the best way to put it. Taurus is not a sign. Taurus males tend to not be the type to actually push someone to go do stuff. You're more welcome to come join a Taurus while you're doing stuff, but not something to go push someone to go do something else. Or push them to follow their own path or find some other direction for themselves, and this, that, and third. So whatever Taurus are doing, the Pisces more to fine, but Taurus is also a nice, caring, affectionate person trying to take care of things too, where same situation with Taurus happening, not trying to be too mean, in regards to tell her what to do for herself, or how to do things better, but while I'm doing my thing here, you help me out. So say I'm going to open the door for you, but I'm not going in your side because I want you to come under my side. So that's a different level of why they're not going into the door for each other, you know? But they're both very affectionate and caring for each other. You're going to get that. Okay? So with those two being said, that's how it's going to be in that situation for the Piscean female. And one thing that's really bad for the Piscean female is that Piscean female is actually a sign. Sorry. The Piscean females, from everything that I've been seeing, which is so far consistently, mostly consistent. I'm trying to think if I have any one of my life that I've ran across with Piscean female who wasn't strong independent. What is strong independent, okay? And that be the case, I can't think of any single one. Every single one that I knew were very strong independents and always feisty. Always extra feisty for sometimes no apparent reason whatsoever. But they're very dominant though. They're the type of person that tends to be, they're going to challenge you to do things or say things. They're going to test your manhood. They're going to put things in front of you to see if you're willing to try and overstep them as a man and take away their charge, take away their power per se, so they can be submissive. That's the best way to put it. Piscean females tend to be the ones who are very, very strong, independent, but they're looking to be submissive. They want someone to be there so they can help support them, not be the one in the need of supporting. Wait, that's that right? The one support him and not have the man be supporting her. That's basically what, okay? That's the biggest differential in regards to the strong, independent woman that Piscean woman is compared to Leo. Leo women are strong, independent, and they don't want you supporting. They don't want to support you. They want you to support them. That's the weight scales tip there in that regards. Okay, so that's how it is. Piscean women, strong, independent women who want someone to take charge so they can help support them. That's the best way to put it there. And that being the case, in the Piscean male and the Taurus male, both of those things tend to fall by the wayside to some degree because of the fact that the Taurus male has everything together somewhat, but it's not an exciting draw to the Piscean female. The Piscean female wants a little chaos to help keep things moving. So she always has something to worry about. So she's worried about taking care of the guy. And if the guy's doing anything he needs to take care of himself, she can't really take care of what she needs to and do what she wants to do in the meantime. No. Emotionally in the meantime. So man, that's a lot of words I'm saying for this compatibility thing. And so in the situation, the entire time, let's say if he's the Taurus male or Piscean male, I forget, unfortunately, I'm sorry, but both of them fit the bill down to a T. She is looking for something to draw her need to actually be supportive of someone. And the Taurus male may have his stuff together, which actually I do know he has his stuff together in regards to career and that kind of stuff and finances, and she can't really help support that. But he's not having that drive, that initiative to actually give her a reason that want to be there to support him. So she's looking around for other people, other guys to replace them, to be one, more dominant, more controlling, and two, to be more of a situation for which she can care for him more. Those two things. Okay? I mean, like I said, like, depending on what you're looking for Piscean female, the Taurus male, and the Piscean male both have very good traits that are good for you, especially if you're looking for the lovey-dovey romantic type that you're trying to do things that are really emotional, lovey-dovey, and I don't know. Cause they're like one of the 50-50 ones, okay? They're very, very situational. It all depends on what you want as a person. Now, this is where the compatibility thing comes into in regards to what I'm going to be saying for the next part for me and my wife. This part here, one of the biggest things that draw people to each other are the traits that we have inside ourselves that we're either one, looking for, or two, are things that we completely are not willing to do ourselves. Like, when people say all the time that good girls go for the bad boys, it's actually 100% true. Because the novelty of, oh, shit, I'm a phone around. The novelty of why, one, for the quiet schoolgirl, being good, being constantly coddled, whatever, being inside of her huddle, ball, whatever, comes across as bad boy who has bikes, has tattoos, driving around, looks tough. Those contrasts are things that people don't really, they see like, why would she choose him? Or why would he choose her, or whatever, okay? The novelty of the attraction of the bad boy persona and the things you do draws security and falsity in regards to what strength, power, charisma, everything that's very, very flashy and shiny. That's what this draws for. And the other way around, the guy has a girl who's not, may or may not be, but this is generalizing here. Very submissive, very listening, does what he wants her to do. You always get her what he wants her to do because she just says a couple of things, she just jumps for it, okay? That's typically how those dynamic work. Whatever we have that we're looking for ourselves, things that we, okay, that's another thing. If there's a things that we actually want for ourselves, that we don't have the ability to act upon because it's something that we're not instilled with ourselves, or that we find abnormal, or things that we find attractive. How oxymoronic as it sounds. But that be the case, though, the novelty of that draws into it. But typically what happens after a while, the good girl, bad boy persona, excuse me, that runs its course. After a few weeks, a few months, maybe a few years, depending on how good everything else is, those things always fall by the wayside. And then they become things that you completely hate about the person. Because you go into it as that draw, hoping that it's a nice draw, whatever, it's a temporary thing that goes away. while everything settles down and things work out. And that tends not to be the case. Because typically what happens, those things are traits of the person that you were just attracted to and expected that you might be able to have it go away. And that tends not to be the case, like I said. And this situation here, one of the things with right now in the relationship, I don't know if they're going to stay together or not. I don't know what happened. Because like I said, everything's fresh. They've been together for a while before they got married. Just recently got married, actually got that ring, the papers, all the good job and jazz. But the emotional infidelity was a deal breaker before in previous relationships for this woman. Not necessarily emotional, but the actual infidelity. Whereas emotional deal breakers. So this going forward, we see what happens in regards to them staying together or not. From what I heard, that she's done and she's trying to move on, but that marriage binding thing is a little bit of an issue now. And going to the next part, which is one thing I actually am not a strong believer in. I mean, I believe in what I'm going to say, but the whole cheating of adultery, infidelity type situation, that's not something that I actually could get over myself. So I don't know. I mean, that's a deal breaker for me. Cut that shit right off. Break them up, They may or may not depend what happens, what's going forward with this. But the thing is, though, the compatibility matters for building upon relationships. But at the end of the day, if the two people do not have similar values, morals, and ethics on which to base their relationship upon, then no matter how compatible you are, your shit's going to fall by the wayside. Because you need a foundation that's strong to anchor yourself down to this person's relationship, right? So I said, with all that, I'm going to go to me and my wife and how we manage things to work the way they work, alright? So, quick synopsis. Me and my wife have I've known her for 10 years now. Been married 9 years now? Or 8 years? 8 years now, married. Married 8 years, known her for 10. Alright. That's a start. I'm an Aquarius. She's a Libra. If you guys are following the content, you guys already know that. But we have a very, very strong core values. We agree heavily upon how things should be in a relationship. We agree heavily upon how I'm trying to find the right things for what I say. Like, the thing is that we have a lot of core foundational things that we agree upon, but everything sits upon that. How we should maintain ourselves for each other, how we should take care of things for our kids, how we want our family to be, where we're going in our life. We have the kind of success that we're trying to have for each other or for ourselves, for the household, so we could be together, growing together. We have those I said I probably should do that. But let's say we are in a strong agreement upon a lot of things in regards to how things should be handled in the big spectrum of things. The small details about how to go about doing these things is where we differ a lot. Because again, like I said, she's a Libra and Aquarius. I'm more open to ideas, creativity, and taking risks. And she's more focused on building at a slow pace and taking things to going forward. It's actually because talking in the comments to someone, we're talking about how compatible things are in regards to the placements and that kind of stuff. Like I said before, like I said her, I'm not to the level of astrology to where I can actually do a synergy chart. Compare the birth charts for the two people and put them together in regard to see how compatible things are. I don't have that in me. yet. I was working that a while back, and I skipped that ball a little. Not skipped, slowed down the ball. Got to redirect it for some other things, and now I'm back into it. I'm gonna try and get back in. I'm not trying to. I'm going to get back into it. It's about a win, but I can't place those things. But going down top of the chart though, Aquarius for me, Libra for her, Scorpio moon, Pisces moon, sorry, Pisces ascendant, that's me. Cancer ascendant, that's her. I'm just go to 3 there. We have a few other things that click together, but those the big 3 right there for us. That's one thing that I actually do. We have a huge problem with. All right, for one, okay. The Libra and the Aquarius, right? It's a good benefit for her because Libra is one of the signs that are very indecisive. And when it comes to making choices, they have a hard time of actually slowing down and picking the one because they're afraid of the fact that could be wrong. And so they go back and forth between the two. Whereas me, I guess my fixed sign quality, I'm very decisive when the time's right. I give my information, I make my choice, and that's it. So I am very helpful for her in regards to making a decision and getting results. Whereas she can get results too, but it's going to be some back and forth and emotional ups and downs, and that's a very good strength. Just like I said in my last video, it's very important to not be always so concerned with trying to make your weaknesses better. Sometimes it's better to have someone who can offset you to cover your weaknesses with their strengths. In that regards there, I'm very good for that. All right. Like I said before, I've one of the videos that my wife, like I said, well, she has a Cancer rising. So her Cancer rising, what I do happen to see is she makes her very, very nurturing, very, very lovey-dovey, motherly type. I love that and I hate that, depending on the situation. For me and my kids, my family, I love the whole dynamic because she's very, very, very family-oriented. I love that shit. But with the Cancer ascendant part, it comes down to she tends to be a little too nitpicky, a little too overbearing at times in regards to caring and spoiling my kids over and above what I would do for myself, or what I think is normal. That's a Cancerian trait. I guess Cancerian trait mixed with the Libra. Libra is signed by relationships, and Cancer is the motherly type. So those two combined make her overbearing at times for me personally in regards to how she takes care of caring for things. That's a good and bad thing, okay? Because I'm actually very, very independent. I like to push off independence for my kids, for anyone in my life. Very supportive for everyone in my life, but I'm about, like with this stuff here, I'm about teaching a man to fish so he can feed his family, feed himself, compared to giving a man a fish so he can feed himself at one time. That's the kind of boat I'm in. She's in the boat of feed everyone at the expense of herself. Hurts me at times, hurts my heart at times, but it's fine though, this is how it is. Because yeah, I mean, like every relationship has ups and downs. Like we been up and down several times over the course of our life, of course, our relationship. Because, like I said, one, I am a risk taker, and she's very, very risk adverse. So those two things combined, I'm pushing for a lot more that she's really to be comfortable with. At times, so at times it's right, sometimes it's wrong. But the fact of the matter is that happens. And the thing about that is because of Libra, how Libra is as a whole by itself, I'm going to add on with the Cancerian traits, add mix into it. Security and safety are two things that she values more. And there are times when security and safety are things that need to be pushed a little bit to reach out a little bit so things can be safer later on. Which that's a philosophy of myself, which I don't know how Aquarian that is. But if you guys know, let me know down in the comments below if you agree with that thought process or not. Like I said, for me and my relationship, I'm always striving for progress and moving forward and doing bigger things and making things safer by pushing things to action. So that's another good thing for her. Again, for me, is that I'm a man of action, which comes down to potentially my Mars and Aries as well too. Like when it's time to get things done, I get things done. Like this right here, like this episode right here. Like I said, I was working through my head trying to figure out what we're gonna do, talk about, and that's it. Fuck it, I got it. Let's go with this. And here we go. You know what I'm saying? We're running through the gauntlet with this stuff. So that right there, when she is lacking and not able to take action or move forward herself, I'm there to push. That's a strong benefit that helps out here. But on the plus side though, so on the reverse, there are times when I'm trying to go too fast and she can help bring me in. So that's one good thing for me in regards to my relationship with her, is that she can help anchor my thoughts at times. Because that's actually one thing that I say about a lot of air and fire types being in relationships with earth and water types, is that anchoring sometimes is something that is very helpful at times, because sometimes us air and fire types can get a little more too rambunctious, a little too overzealous, and sometimes you gotta bring that shit in. All right. Because sometimes in hindsight, you're like, you know what? I'm glad that I slowed down, because this could have been who blah 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 blah, you know. So that being the case, worked out pretty good. We have some qualities that help level things out. That's a good benefit there. Okay. I'm gonna pause for a second for my son. Nope, never good. So those being the case, like I said, those are things that are very strong suits. Like I could definitely 100% guarantee you that there are times when my wife's like, I should not have been with this guy. But that's a good and bad thing, because it's a good thing, because without conflict, without you questioning, hearing things inside your head about the relationship you're in, and then able to be able to communicate about it, those are how we get past things. Those are how we get past anything. When it comes down to compatibility, you always have to have the willingness to work through your adversities. And with compatibility, the best thing about compatibility and things being compatible with someone is that you have a lot of things, a lot of traits that go hand in hand. So that when things get rough, you can bring things back to a positive light. But if you lack the core foundation of which to set these things upon, you are not going to be able to properly. Yeah, like I said, if you can't anchor it down, it's like having the ship sitting on the water, sitting at dock, but not actually having the tie to the dock. You're hoping that a big strong gust of wind has come by and push your sail and push your boat out into the middle of the lake, which is possible. And then you get a hope to try and paddle it back, that big old yacht you had. Until you spend $155,000 on that yacht and not get an anchor, you know, that's how it is. That's exactly how it is. That's a pretty good analogy too. But that's how it is. Without that foundation, without that tie down, it's really easy to actually get let off. And so regardless of how compatible you are, like I said, those core values are not there. Like I say, core value. One person wants to have kids, other person doesn't want to have kids. Always have you may be together for however many years, but there's always going to be that resentment towards the other person because someone's not getting what they want. Or if someone gets what they want in regards to having a kid, the other person doesn't happy about that. So it's going to be that tension that is unnecessary. if you have different ideas about how to raise kids, that's going to be bad outliers. If you have a problem with gender roles, which gender roles are something that you cannot bypass, because if one person is expected to do this, another person doesn't expect the other person to expect them to do that or do this, things are going to be left undone, or things are going to be always constantly lacking because someone's not doing what they need to do, someone's not pulling the weight in regards to the relationship. Things will always be divvied up at some point in time, but at some point in time, someone's going to fail to want to do that because of the fact that their heart is not into doing it. So, gender roles, that kind of stuff. I'm trying to think of other foundational things off the top of my head that really matter. When we talk about things, things come up. Same thing about finances. Same thing about the direction of life, where we're going. Same thing about schooling and attendance, and I said so many different things that actually that matter foundationally. And if you don't have those foundational things, you're going to waver and want to get out. You're going to want to get out. I said exactly how I want to say it. When things get rough and rocky. And if things are rough and rocky, adversity sets in, and it's easier for you to not, you find yourself waste your time a lot more. That's one of the things about, I don't want to say dating early, dating often, is that you go through a lot more people and figure out more what you want and what you don't want. But if you're going through all these people and not figuring out what you want and don't want, you're gonna find yourself doing more of the same thing with the same type of people, and the same type of people are not the people you want in the first place. So that's actually one thing that's an issue with people in relationships, because there is no book. There are books in relationships, but more often than not, you go through those relationships through trial and error, not necessarily going into the right state of mind, knowing how things are going to be, or what you're looking for, or what you want in your life, because we're always constantly developing and evolving as people. And I swear I keep talking about this, but there is a certain point in time in the astrological realm, somewhere between 25 to 27, where you have an epiphany of sorts, to where you are actually more of your sun sign than any other aspect. You're more true to your sun sign then. This is my thought on it, which probably is close to how it should be, because it seems to be like, I'm pretty sure what it is. I heard this before a long time ago. I ran with it. I love it. Is that around 25, 27, that's when you're actually most away from other influences in your world, in your life, that are pushing you away from being more sun sign detailed and tending to your sun sign, because you're tending more to your parents, what they want, tending more to your early days in your career, your college atmosphere, or you're going through your first or second, your third, your fourth relationship, whatever, and all those things influence heavily upon you. Restrictions that typically tend to pull you away from what you are as a person. And then you find that nice spot around 25, 26, 27, and you start to understand more yourself. You start seeing more what you be. You start being more of who you are and who you're meant to be. If you're in a relationship, that's actually one thing why a lot of relationships that happen early on tend to end between 24 and 27, simply because of the changes that we go through as people around that time, to become more of ourselves, and become more self-aware of what you want and what you need for yourself to move on with your life in a better way. Hopefully, you're not too too deluded by other influences to not see the light of yourself to try and shine through. That's the thing with that. Compatibility matters a whole bunch. It matters a whole bunch, but it doesn't matter at all. That's the best way to put it. Because at the end of the day, regardless of how compatible you are, if you lack the foundation to hold on to, at some point in time it's going to fall apart. If you guys are not going the same direction, one person wants to live close to home, the family, the other person trying to see the world, and that's been discussed several times in the early stages of the relationship, and then 3 or 4 years later, you're surprised when he or her decide that they want to go out west, and you're trying to stay here in North Carolina. And they want, you know what I'm saying? So those kind of things. Those kind of things. So, I'm trying to think. I don't know if I even hit enough of what I should have hit for me and my wife thing. But me and my wife, it's just standard relationship. We have up and downs. Very, very compatible. Always another thing too. The other person open to changes, or open to things that you're willing to do or trying to do. Those things help, because my wife being open to my nerdiness, geekiness, animes, and other good cartoons, that kind of stuff, open up her horizons a bunch to actually be able to better enjoy things with my kids. That's what I'm saying, my kids, or our kids, because that's how that matters. That matters a bunch. So I think I'm gonna cut it off there. I'm gonna leave it at there. So hopefully, and I'm thinking back, I actually did enough of the compatibility informational part so actually things can understand the value of it in regards to the Piscean female and her compatibility with these other two guys. The compatibility is mostly high, but there is a fall off to some degree to other aspects, and some aspects in that regards too did not have the foundational standing for that she was the Piscean or the Taurus to hold her down to where she actually taking care of, getting what she needs as a Piscean female to be happy in the long run. Okay. Now I didn't get all details for either, but that's good enough. And then that same thing here true with me and my wife. Like I said, been together a decent amount of time. Highly, highly compatible. Aquarius and Libra. I still think that is Aquarius male, Libra female. I think it's one of the best combinations, if not the top combination for an Aquarius. Okay. Maybe even for a Libra female. I'm not even sure. I don't know if I did that one yet, but we have a lot of strong foundational things, so our compatibility is high with a strong foundation. So it makes it easier for us to actually be in a long-lasting, loving relationship for a long amount of time. It's always going to be conflict of relationships, but it all comes down to the sacrifices you have to make yourselves be more unified. And at some point in time, like in my relationship, the sacrifices are less. There were time restricted, and things are becoming better, cleaner. So now, I mean, I wouldn't leave my wife, but I can see us actually going a much, much longer time now than what I was back in the days. You know what I'm saying? So it's always a good thing. Always a good thing. So that being said, share this shit. Let me know what you thought. Let me know what you think about my thoughts about Aquarius and how I'm applying these things to other things. If your thoughts are Aquarius, if you're an Aquarius and you are a similar thought process of mine, let me know in the comments below. If you completely disagree with me, as Aquarius or not Aquarius, let me know down below. I'm going to hear about that. Right down there. Alright, guys. That being said, as always, my friends, stay classy. Be you. Make a wish.